Okay, good evening, everyone that is present. Oh, thank you so much for joining us once again for this office hour session. Okay, apologies, I was starting at 2:30. I was held back in traffic for quite a while. It was timed, I timed it quite well, but I just got in not quite long. Okay, so we would begin from here. Thank you so much. Like I said earlier, thank you so much for joining in. Okay, hope you're all good. Good afternoon to you. Hope everything is fine with you. Okay, so we just have only one question for our NodeJS office. We just have only one question, and it's basically okay, about this task with 6 tasks. Okay, so I'll just try to go over it and then we'll begin. Okay, I just hope the person that asked the question is here. Okay, so the first thing I want you to know is there are routes, there are models, and those other stuff that you see there. You're not, like I said, you're not supposed to touch any of those. Okay, I think I've said it. It's written there in the instruction. I have said it over and over again. You're not expected to touch any of those. If you feel that any of those things you need to edit any of them, you can feel free to edit them. But if you don't know what those things mean, if you don't know what to do about them, just leave them as they are. What you just need to do is edit your index.js file. The data we're using is already given to us. Someone's asking about the dummy data. The data is already given on to us, like in the task. So I don't know why you're asking for another data. This is the data we're using. Title, flight to Canada, time 1 p.m., price 26,000, date. This is the data we are using. Okay, you don't need any other extra dummy data. So basically, the task is clear, and I think the resources that are enough to answer your questions. Okay, so really, I don't want to be going back and forth about task and then trying to explain all this. It just necessary we try to go through not scan through, read through the task, understand what they want you to do. Okay. With that said, we'll go to what we did yesterday. Continue from where we stopped yesterday. Yesterday, we encountered an error, and because of time, we could not deal with that error. Okay, because of time, we could not deal with that error. I would open, okay, while I'm opening so one of the things I discovered that is the reason we were having that error was not because we wrote a wrong code. Okay, that's one of the things I also want you to look out for. When you are very sure, you look at your code line by line, it ought to work. Like it ought to work, and you are so sure you've done all the checks and all the balance as far, okay, as per what is written, your code that is written, and you know that it ought to work. Then there's only one thing to do, especially when it has to do with connecting to the internet, something that you need internet connection, like what we did yesterday. Okay. So what I did to overcome that was basically to let me open the folder. Okay. So what I did yesterday basically was to clear the cache for my browser. So I cleared the cache for my browser, and well, it started working. So my code wasn't wrong. It was that it had already cached the code. Okay, the error that was not working. It had already cached it into this. So at any given time when I was trying to load even the correct one, it was basically bringing up the incorrect one. So I would share my screen totally because I've been sharing the page, but I'll share my screen totally now. And so we can be able to follow as I switch back from browser to VS Code. Okay. So I believe we all can see my Visual Studio Code, and I would view appearance. Yeah, I think there has been an update to this thing. Yes, there has been an update to Visual Studio Code because this is not how it was. I can see it's not, it wasn't that small. I think this view was like, was supposed to be the options, it was to this point. Yeah, I didn't mean to reduce it. Appearance, zoom in. Okay. Um, we'll try it and be fast because I think we just have few minutes left. Okay, we just have few minutes left. Okay, so Node, I just want to run the on my just give it a moment. My Visual Studio Code, VS Code is still trying to load fully. It's not yet loaded fully. Okay. Okay, Node server. I want you to know that this is okay. So Node server is already listening for requests on port 3000. Okay, so I will go to my web localhost 3000 just to make sure that it works. Okay, this is the food menu. Okay, so one of the things we're doing, okay, we have recipe. Okay, recipe was supposed to, recipe can be gotten from the local market. Okay, so what we were trying to do was to use recipe food and then to redirect recipe food to recipe. Okay, we use the set header for location. Set header location is for redirect, and the status code 300 and the 300 range is for redirect purposes. So what we're going to be typing now is recipe food instead of recipe as we have here. So recipe food, let's try it. Recipe food. It's redirected back to recipe. So you can see it here, recipe food redirected back. So okay, so it gets and it's will move permanently. Okay, move part 301 is that the status code we use is for move permanently. So this is what we entered, but it directed us to recipe, as you can see here. Okay, so with that out of the way, we would progress. Okay. You know, we have been trying, what we have been doing is basically anytime we want to start our server, after every change, we have to, like now, if I want to make any change now to my code, I will have to Control C to stop. Okay, for Windows, I think it's going to be Command C for Mac OS. Okay, Control C to stop, and then I have to do Node server again. So we start the server after each change. But this can be very tedious, really. It can be very tasking. So there's what we call NPM. It's called Node Package Manager, NPM, Node Package Manager. It's a platform, okay, that helps us to install, update, and remove Node packages in a project and from our computers. Okay, and one of there's a package, okay, that is provided, a third-party package, okay, that is not part of the node core. Okay, the third-party package that we can use to help us overcome this always writing node server and then stopping the server at any given change and reloading the server at any given time. Okay, I don't know why this has decided to. Let's see if I have so many things open. Thank you. No. Okay. My system is just experiencing some little lag. Um, Okay, while I wait for it to load, okay, we'll just continue. I'll just give a brief background on Node and all that. Okay, we are ready. We are good to go. So, one of the, like I said, NPM. So the first thing that we want to do is, okay, install. Okay, so the package I was talking about that helps us, helps with development workflow. It's a live reload server. Helps us to load our servers at real time. Okay. So I don't need to stop my server at any given point in time. I just need to make changes and the server captures these changes automatically without me stopping the server. Okay. The name of the package is called NodeMon. NodeMon. We'll install it now. Okay, but first I want to just make sure npm is installed or triggered in my project. To do that, I will do npm init. Okay, npm init, and then we will see that you will see some changes here. Package name, okay, give me package name. I'll just try to use the default. You can actually change these, okay. Edit this if you want. If you don't want the one that was suggested to you, NodeJS Office R, okay, you can basically do away with it, but I want to just continue with this. But I think I will just change this to food ordering application. Okay, food ordering application. Okay, I want to change it to the version 1, yes, description, and application that helps customer order food and know what time it, sorry, deliver to the and the entry point. Entry point is not index.js. Okay, the entry point is not index.js. We want to use okay, we can say index.js. You can say the entry point should be index.js. Yes, and entry point test command no, git repository yes, keywords no, also okay. It's where I write my name, license. Is this okay? Yes. Okay. So it automatically creates this package.json file to tell us that it has been npm has been triggered. It has so many things. There's a script here, echo node.js, node server.js, okay, to start the server or okay. So there's some scripts here. We can actually run these scripts. So instead of saying node server.js, okay, node server, I can just say node start. Okay, node start will also we trigger the script here, start. Name of this script is start. Name of this script is test. So let's try it before we instead of saying node servers, let's say node start. Okay. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, that didn't work. I would I will not, I don't have time to actually go through this, but basically just know these are scripts. I think in the next, I might add some scripts to this that we can be able to use, okay? And then in our consequent lessons, we'll be making use of scripts, okay? Because I think as you go, scripts are basically what you'll be using, okay? Basically you can use the normal method, but it's just more professional to use scripts, okay? So I will get back to you on these scripts, okay? But basically, that's what you get in package.json, okay? The package.json file. Another thing we will need to do is to install NodeMon, okay? To install NodeMon, we can go to our browser, okay, and get the google.com. I like using Google. I don't like using Microsoft, although I'm using Microsoft Edge, but I'm not a fan of Microsoft search engine. I think that's Binge. So I would basically search for node npm. I'll just say npm. I'd like us to just go through some things about npm if you can see the documentation. So on that thing that you need to know how to do is to actually to go through documentations. Okay. So we have npm, we can search for any of the packages we want here and to help us out. Okay, with so let's search for NodeMon. Okay. Let's search for NodeMon. So NodeMon, we have here simple monitor script for use during the development of a NodeJS app. Okay. Let's look at what it does. NodeMon. So this NodeMon, and this is how we can install NodeMon. So we can install NodeMon globally using this. Okay, I already have it installed. So you can install it globally. When you say globally, you store it in your machine. You don't need to, for every project that you now create, you can be able to use NodeMon without installing it again. Or we can install it just for the project, just for this project. Like, okay. So that two different ways you can install the package, either globally or per project. Okay, and we use this -G is like the keyword used to install for as in install globally. I'll just copy this. Okay, I'll copy this and then come to Visual Studio Code and paste this here. Okay, my system is really slow, and that's because my cloud code is still updating. I still have cloud code updating. My Visual Studio Code kind of updated. I put it on auto update, so it updates anytime there's a new release of Visual Studio Code, a new stable release of Visual Studio Code. So I think it's done by now. I can't see it again. So I think everything that we'll do on Visual Studio Code now should be really fast. Okay. Still slow. Okay. This is me installing NodeMon. So with this, I can be able to start my server, okay, without I can be able to start my server without and make changes to my code without restarting my server. So I just want to start my server using NodeMon now. NodeMon. Now, initially we're seeing Node and then server, and Node just automatically knows that we're talking about server.js. Not so with NodeMon. NodeMon, we have to include the file type. So this is a JavaScript file, so it has to be .js. Okay, so it knows that it's this file exactly that we're looking at. Let's try and work with, see what happens. Okay, so first is home. Okay, and then we can do about. I think there's an about. Okay, and then we can do recipe. Okay, so that works. Okay, you can see the commands being listed here also. Okay, on that thing, I would want, okay, there are other several packages that one can install and basically make use of. Okay, and on that package that npm would help us, and that package that we really need, okay, to help us in our smooth, help us build servers, okay, easily and that are more efficient, is installing the third-party framework called express.js. Okay, it's not part of the Node core packages and modules, and that's why we're using npm to install Express. Okay, so we can use npm to install Express, and we can just do that. I think what we'll just do for today is install Express. By tomorrow we'll make use of Express. Okay, more. So we install Express. Okay, express.js. So we type it, you can see a little way on how we can be able to start our server using Express. And you can see that this code is way shorter than what we have here, for HTTP. Okay, it's shorter. But what we're doing for today is just to install Express. So what I will do is copy this code, npm install Express, Ctrl+C, and then since I want to make use of my terminal, okay, and we have something running, I could quit on that terminal, but I want to just stick with one terminal. My PC is already struggling as it is, so I wouldn't want to overlabor my PC. So I will that's the only reason I'm going to close or stop the server. If not, I would just let the server continue on as far as I am just editing my codes, not basically installing packages or modules or frameworks. Okay, so I want to install Express, and this is how I install Express. npm install Express, and enter. Okay, and we allow it go on. Okay, so you can see some features about Express. You can see docs and community, a quick start guide, and all. Okay, you can see a quick start guide and everything we just need. Okay, so with this, if we want to start the server, we can just put npm npm start, okay, npm start. You can install dependencies. There are some dependencies that you can just install, especially when you are cloning a project, okay, that already has dependencies installed that has already been worked on. You want to just clone and work on that project from GitHub. You are meant to use this command. This is the first command they're meant to run, because it is good practice that when we are pushing to GitHub, package.json, package log.json, node modules will not be, especially node modules will, okay, package.json would, package log.json may, but you see node modules shouldn't be pushed to GitHub at all. It's quite big, it's quite heavy. Okay, but apart from that, it's just best practice that you don't push node modules to your GitHub. So when I clone a project from GitHub, though it's using npm and there's package.json, okay, there won't be node modules there. So with npm and with this command npm install, I can install all the dependencies that were used, okay, for that application, and then thereby creating our node modules. So our node modules came as a result of installing Express, okay, node modules, and then our package log.json too. Okay, so let's just think I still have 5 minutes more. This, you can go through this in your leisure time. Website and documentation, very important, very important. I just like going through the documentation. It gives you a broader view of whatever I'm going to be teaching, or whatever the resource is going to be saying, or whatever video you find online. Will really just give you the how it is mostly used, how Express is mostly used, but there may be other use cases of different packages, okay? And those things can be found in the documentation, okay? In the documentation. So what we want to do is try to call Express, make sure Express is installed in your project and in this project. And one way to find out is to try using it, okay? Try using it. And if you want to try, okay, I would use from a conf and then express equals require express. Okay, didn't give me any error, and that means I can be able to make use of express. Okay, I can be able to make use of express. So later on, I'm using the normal terminal PowerShell. Okay, so we can basically, we'll stop here because of time. It's already 57. Tomorrow we'll continue with Express and just see how far we can go. If we can just cover everything that most of the things we learned this week, if we can just cover it using our food ordering application. So I'll just continue. We'll be building on this food ordering application as we go by. Next week, we'll be having a database. We'll have MongoDB on our food ordering application. You know, by tomorrow or Monday, we will have our APIs ready for our food ordering application. We'll have some set of APIs, create it, and just go further like that. And hopefully we can just see one front end person that can just do a little front end nice design for us. And boom, we already have a full-fledged application. We will be making use of AWS, okay, to deploy our projects when the time comes. So we'll deploy this project on AWS and we'll see how it works. Okay. Thank you so much for staying to the end of today's office hour. Take care. Please make sure to use the office hour question form, okay, for your questions. Thank you so much and good evening.